Did you know sitting down straight after a meal could be making your belly fatter than the meal itself? It sounds mad, but it's true. The second you sink into that sofa, you're basically handing your body a note that says, please store this fat around my middle, thanks. But there's a fix for this. It takes 2 minutes, you can do it sitting down and nobody would even notice. And it's been shown to cut the blood sugar spike behind the fat storage by more than half. No supplement, no fatty diet, nothing off your plate. Almost nobody over 60 has heard of it. In this video, I'll show you exactly what it is, plus 2 other habits that might be quietly padding out your waistline. And I'll lay out a simple 7-day plan to put it all into practice. Stick around to the end, because I'm also giving away a free trainer to help you actually stick with it. So why does sitting down send that message to your body in the first place? Blame your blood sugar. And don't worry, I won't turn this into a biology lesson, nobody wants that. When you eat, that energy has to go somewhere. It gets burned off, stored as fat, or your body has a bit of panic and you end up flagging an hour later, staring blankly at the fridge, wondering why you're suddenly starving again. And when it does get stored, it's not exactly fair where it goes. As we get older, that spare energy develops a strong preference for the midsection, like it's got a season ticket there, which is exactly why belly fat creeps on even when the rest of you hasn't changed a bit. What decides which outcome you get? Mostly, it's what you're doing right after that meal, not the meal itself. And this matters more with age because our muscles get a bit lazier at mopping up the sugar on their own. There's a proper term for it, anabolic resistance, which is a fancy way of saying your body stopped doing the job automatically and needs a little nudge. The good news, you can give it that nudge and it's got nothing to do with what's on your plate. This is the exact thing I focus on with everybody I work with over 60, not less food, just smarter timing. Let's look at the 3 things almost everybody does without a second thought. Take my Uncle Derek. Every Sunday, without fail, he finishes his roast, lets out a groan of satisfaction that will wake the dead and collapses in the same armchair he's had for years. Every year, that belt goes out another notch. Derek thinks it's the roast potato. It's not the roast potatoes, Derek. It's these 3 things and he ticks every single box. First, you finish eating and head straight for the sofa. Of course you do. You've earned it. You're full, maybe your eyelids have gone a little bit heavy, but the second you go still, your muscles, the biggest sugar clearing crew in your entire body, basically clock off right when you need them the most. Nothing's left burning that fuel, so your body files it away as fat and a good chunk of it moves in around your middle like it owns the place. Second, there's often a little something extra thrown in. A biscuit, a splash of juice, or just 1 small slice of cake because you're being sociable. Your blood sugar was already climbing from the meal itself. Now you've lobbed a second wave on top and your pancreas is running around like it's understaffed on a bank holiday. And third, this one gets everybody, not just Derek. You get sucked into something, the crossword, the football highlights, a phone call with your grandkids about absolutely nothing important that somehow lasts 40 minutes. That window where a bit of movement would have helped you, shut. And you've never even clocked it was open in the first place. Now, before you panic, I'm not about to tell you to do star jumps after your roast. Nobody's asking for that, and frankly, your knees will file a formal complaint. These are small, genuinely almost suspiciously small, and they're the same 3 things I get every new client to try first before we touch anything on their plate. The first is just a short walk, a few minutes down the hallway, round the garden, up and down the living room past the dog, who will look at you like you've lost the plot. Just ignore him. When your legs are moving, they act like little glucose hoovers, pulling sugar straight out of your bloodstream to use as fuel. There was a review a couple of years back in the journal Sports Medicine that pulled together 7 separate studies, and they found a short walk after eating beat both sitting and standing still. Cut the blood sugar by almost 17%. The best bit, it didn't need to be a long walk. 2 to 5 minutes made a genuine difference. That's about as far as wandering out to the post box and moaning about the weather to the next door neighbour. The second one's the one that really got me. There's a muscle called the soleus tucked right behind your shin bone. Underneath the calf muscle, you can actually see in the mirror. A team at the University of Houston ran a study published in 2022 where they simply sat people in a chair, kept their toes on the floor and had them lift their heels up and down. That's generally the whole exercise. I want you to picture Derek doing this at the dinner table and nobody noticing, because that's exactly the point. It cut the blood sugar spike after eating by 52% and dropped the insulin the body needed by around 60%. The lead researcher said he didn't know of any medicine, even the strongest ones, that came close to what this tiny muscle does, and it's only about 1% of your body weight doing all this work. Give it a go right now, and if you're sitting down, feet flat, toes on the floor, heels up, heels down, no rush. The third brings in your biggest muscle, your thighs and your bottom, the heavyweight champions of the glucose storage. Hold on to the back of a sturdy chair, or a kitchen worktop, lower yourself down like you're sitting into an invisible seat, then stand back up. 10 of these, steady as you like. Or if the stairs agree with you, a couple of tries up and down the stairs do the same job. Just maybe don't carry the laundry basket at the same time and try to multitask. Just do one thing at a time. You don't need all three every time. Out for lunch with the family, the heel raises are perfect. Nobody will have the faintest idea you're doing it under the tablecloth. Home for dinner, a short walk while the kettle boils does just the trick. A quick one before we move on. Drop a comment and tell me which one of these three you're going to try first. I'll read every single one and I'll be checking back in on this video to see how you're all getting on. Right, let's get into that 1 week plan I promised. Here's a simple way to actually test this in yourself. One small change at a time, no diet overhaul required. Think of it as a week-long experiment where you get to be your own guinea pig minus the cage. Day 1. Don't sit down after eating, that's the only rule today. See if your usual afternoon dip feels a little bit softer. Day 2, you're going to add a short walk after your biggest meal of the day. See if you're less peckish between meals. Day 3, swap whatever you'd normally slump in front of, the telly, the crossword, Derek's Sunday football commentary for a bit of light movement instead. Notice how much clearer your head feels afterwards. Day 4, you're going to try those heel raises after lunch. See if your energy holds up better through the afternoon instead of hitting the wall at around 3 o'clock. Day 5, a short walk or the stairs after dinner. Notice if you feel less bloated before bed. Day 6, combine whichever ones should work best for you after every meal. Notice your cravings or lack of them. Day 7, take stock properly. How's your energy? How's your sleep? How's your joints? How's your mood? Ask yourself honestly, does this feel any different to how it did a week ago? And if you're brave, ask Derek if his belt feels any looser. He won't admit it, but ask anyway. Right, here's a few things to watch out for. Your pudding straight after a meal stacks a second spike right on top of the first one. Sorry, but yes, this includes trifle. Anything sweet to drink does the same. Lying down after a big meal is tempting, especially on a Sunday with a full belly and the football on, but your muscles can't help if you're horizontal in the sofa. And it can also make your reflux worse too, which tends to crop up more as we get older and less forgiving of gravity. And losing yourself in the telly is the same trap as before. The window shuts and you never notice it was open. As I promised, I've got a free 30-day trainer to go alongside this video for you. If you want that, check out the link in the description below. Pin it in the comments as well, so check that out. It's totally free. Your waistline after 60 isn't decided at breakfast or dinner. It's decided in the few minutes right after you put your fork down. Every single meal is another chance to tell your body to burn that energy instead of storing it around your middle. Move a little bit instead of collapsing into the armchair. Keep at it and watch what changes. Your energy, your strength, how your waistband feels this month. As for Derek, I sent him this video. He'll ignore it, obviously, but I've done my bit. If you've got your own Derek in the family, tell me about them in the comments below. I want to hear it. And if this was useful, pass it on to someone who gets something out of it. And if you want to build on this, I've got a video on the 7 best exercises for staying strong and mobile after 60. And you can get it right here, so be sure to check that out. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.